Today on the Norse Benchwarmers podcast, Josh is out for the week and we have a special guest to talk about a major scandal over at Michigan, the Olympics, and of course, continuing our preview of the NFL season, looking at the NFC EAST. All that and more on the Norse Benchwarmers podcast. Welcome back to the Norse Benchwarmers podcast. I am your host, Colton Smith, here joined by a co-host, Ben Miller, sitting in Josh's seat today, and special guest, Alex Perez.
How we doing?
Doing good, doing good. Of course, we have our director, Garrett Jordan, over there. Can't forget about him. Almost forgot about him because of our special guest over there, looking good. But Alex, how have you been? You haven't been on the show for a while.
Doing pretty good. Started my own podcast,
That
so
you
that's
have.
been pretty fun. Besides that, just been busy with summer.
Yeah, great show, by the way.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yep.
great. It's a great show. I'm part of that show. Be sure to go check it out. Beyond the Score. What's the Twitter?
The Twitter is BT_ then the word score.
Okay, and then YouTube is it just Beyond the Score? Is Beyond the Score
Beyond
1, 2?
the score 1, 2, 3.
Okay,
Gotcha.
you should go check those out if I can. For some reason, the account won't let me link stuff, but if I can link it finally, I'll try to link that in the description below. Ben, how was your weekend though? Before we get started,
It was good. Same as always. Just been working in a warehouse
yeah,
and watching Olympics, of course.
Of course. Well, I had a weekend. We won't talk about that weekend. We will talk about Michigan's weekend as there was a scandal that came out mostly on Monday, though. Some more details from that investigation from last year involving new Michigan head coach Sharon Moore. He has been accused, along with 6 other members of the 2023 staff of violating NCAA rules. Moore allegedly deleted 52 text messages with former staffer Connor Stalions. He's the guy who had the manifesto to take over Michigan. It was like this big old document. He's the guy who got exposed basically last season
Yep.
and kind of started this whole thing. There's a photo of him, actually, Stalions, where he is on the sidelines. I meant to actually upload this photo. I forgot. He's on the sidelines of the Central Michigan game.
Mm-hmm.
He has sunglasses on and like just basic Central Michigan attire, and like just nobody. I guess it worked. Nobody asked a question, but
Wow.
yeah, just proof that with confidence and enough gear on, you can get it anywhere. But anyways, moving along, Chris Partridge, a former defensive assistant who was fired by Michigan last November, is also accused of pressuring a player to lie or mislead NCAA investigators in an effort to protect the coaching staff during the probe into Stallion's scheme. That's not even all of it. And I found there is a documentary actually currently being made on all of this. All the information I got, by the way, was from an ESPN article. I'm excited for that documentary, though.
I mean, that's crazy. They're really going to make a documentary?
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently, Stalions, they tried to get him to comment on the ESPN article, and apparently they found out somewhere along the way that he'll be talking in that documentary.
Yeah,
Getting his bag.
I mean, I didn't look too much into the scandal, but it's just really crazy that this all went down. And Moore, like you said, he's probably going to face a suspension probably. But,
I'd say.
It's just unbelievable the way some of these schools are violating these rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear this new information too. I mean, allegations we're supposed to call them, but
Yeah,
deleting
allegations.
52 text messages doesn't make you look
That's pretty damning
too
evidence, I would
innocent.
say.
Yeah, Harbaugh could be facing the same things that Moore's facing, but he's never going to come back to college.
Exactly.
Probably, so
Dude, he's set
he's
off in the
clear,
sun. Yeah.
But Moore, he could be in for a lot of trouble very soon.
Absolutely. I feel bad for Moore in a sense because he's really just going to get everything that Harbaugh probably should be getting, but I'm sure he played a large part in it as well. But
I mean, there was a lot of potential when he filled in for Harbaugh those final 4 games of the regular season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
it's still there.
I mean, yeah, but like I said, I feel like there could be a suspension that could be happening. So I feel like this might affect the team in a negative way. So we'll just see what really happens with Michigan, because they're going to need that head coach on the sideline.
I wonder if they'll bring the free Moore shirts out this time instead of the free Harbaugh shirts.
Right.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But it's funny we talk about this the day that Josh is gone.
Yeah.
Josh is currently out on a work trip, having the time of his life, I'm sure.
Yep.
Not really. But Josh, all I have to say is I said this in a text: keep the same energy that you have with the Astros, which you won't. But let's go ahead and move along to our This Week in Reds pain, as we won a series versus the Cubs, but then we got blown out in the last game of that series, and then lost a series to the Giants, in which we also gave up a no-hitter. Good old-fashioned no-hitter. I haven't seen too many of those this year, but yeah. We luckily have the Marlins this week coming up 4 games in a row, so that should be a good confidence boost. Big win last night. So if we can win against a team that we very much should sweep, get some games back, it would be nice.
Yeah, for sure. But just going back to the Giants series and the Rays, or actually, yeah, Giants series. Game 1, they lost 3-0. Blake Snell, absolutely unreal. 11 strikeouts. That was absolutely crazy.
Reds make it easy for them.
Yep, for sure. But Reds, they didn't even come close to a run. But in Game 2, however, there was a home run by Stevenson, India, another one by Stevenson and Fairchild. So another part of that.
And then we benched Stevenson the next game.
Yep. Yeah, another part of that roller coaster season for Cincinnati. But Game 3, the Reds gave up a 2-0 lead. Giants scored 5 runs in the 8th. And Spencer Steer, last 15 games, batting with a batting average of 155. Yeah. And went 0 for 4 in that game. But I saw this on Lance McAllister's Facebook page. 3 games versus the San Francisco Giants. They were 12 for 87 in hitting, which is absolutely unreal. 30 strikeouts to go along with it. And last week against the Rays, they went 13 for 98, 28 strikeouts.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Just disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, just I don't know what to make of this team. Some points during the season we were good, and then all of a sudden we just go downhill.
It's just a roller coaster.
Well,
for sure.
Up and down season, I just have to ask you all, because you all know a lot better than me. Are you all more confident after the trade deadline with this team?
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. Yeah. Garrett, you can chime in here. Are you any more confident after the trade deadline?
Not a chance in hell. No. I think at this point we're pretty much out of it.
Yeah.
I don't see any way we're coming back.
Right.
Speaking of the trade deadline, I have quite the quote from Nick Kroll here, and I word for word from the Sports Illustrated article that I saw. I didn't want to put a bunch of younger players on a roster just to put younger players on the roster. We've got a good group of veterans. We could have traded for 3 or 4 more relievers if we really wanted to go down that road. But this team has a positive 41 run differential. We haven't won the games we should have won. We do have a shot. This is the exact mindset I did not want them to have. What do you guys think about that quote?
I mean, just absolutely unreal, to be honest with you. I don't really have a whole lot.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that's a quote Reds fans were looking to hear. So what do you all think is the biggest problem with the team?
It's been really the hitting this year. I mean, the pitching has been bad, but the hitting has just been severely inconsistent to me. We had Steer, he just mentioned, is having a rough go of it, but he had a time where he was looking great, looking like, I mean, especially the beginning of the year, he was very hot. And then you got guys like Will Benson, who was batting about mid 200s last year, and he's down maybe 200 now. I don't know if he's gotten up to that or not. He was getting there a little bit in the last couple of series. So it's just the hitting has not been there, and that's really what got us to our runs last season. But Garrett, you're more of a baseball expert than me. I would definitely send that question to you as well.
Yeah. The problem has just been that the Reds are inconsistent and they can't close on close games. The starting pitching has actually been a bit of a welcome surprise this year, I would say. Outside of maybe Frankie Montas, that turned out to not be as good of a signing as we had hoped for. Mm-hmm. But Hunter Green, Andrew Abbott, Nick Lodolo, the Reds have solid, young, controllable pitching. Mm-hmm. And as a franchise, that's what you want to have, is solid, controllable, young pitching that are pitching as well as they are. I will agree slightly with the Nick Well, no, okay. Hold on. I'm not going to say that. The Reds could have used some reliever help if they were going to go for it this year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They were kind of on that line, and I think Nick Kroll made the executive decision not to do anything, and that's depressing as a Reds fan. But yeah, man, we just need more consistency out of the team. And I didn't think this was going to be our year anyways, just because of all the injuries that we were having. So I'm looking forward to next year, but I obviously not what Reds fans wanted to hear, but I think what the Reds did at the deadline, which was basically stand pat, make a couple of kind of like moves, but other than that, I mean, I think they did about all they really could do to set themselves up for a potential run next season.
Yeah, I don't think the Kroll comment was necessarily a completely wrong idea. It's just necessarily, it just gives me vibes of like, I showed up to every class, but I didn't turn in any of the assignments, and I'm confused, but I still thought I did a great job type thing is the vibe I got from that. But yeah, I don't know. It's, if I were to compare the Reds to a NBA team, to put it in perspective, they could go down the path of the Thunder, where they have a bunch of young, great talent. But I would probably lean more to the side of the Rockets, where it's a lot of talent. It's kind of before they got Ime Udoka, kind of a lot of talent that just isn't really with the right coach, with the right management.
They could have flash in the pans, but nothing.
Yeah,
really substantial.
absolutely. Yeah. They don't. It doesn't feel like they're coming together as a team as much this year, and part of that maybe is because of missing Joey Votto. I mean, that he was a big locker room guy.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to go back to this inconsistent hitting real quick, but I mean, some there've been certain parts of the game where we're good at hitting, and then the next series we're just off.
Just night and day, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as Reds fans, that's just absolutely unacceptable.
I didn't expect us to go this long on the Reds without Josh here, but here we are, and it's time for the winner's circle. So, Alex, as our guest, I'll let you go first if you want, or if you want to divert to somebody else.
Too kind. I'll go first, so you all don't steal mine.
That's a good point.
My winner's circle pick will be Katie Ledecky, who got 4 golds at the 800 meter. She is the first female athlete in any sport to get 4 golds in an individual event. So that's my winner's circle for this week.
Hey, Alex, that's an incredible pick, dude.
That's
that
why
was
I made that pick.
Outstanding pick, because that was also my pick.
Oh, my bad.
For this week's winner. No, it's okay. I think we should double up.
Yeah.
I mean,
if there's anybody to do it for, it'd be Ledecky for sure.
She's the most decorated female American Olympian in history. I mean, that deserves special praise. I mean, what she's doing is not normal. It's incredible what she's doing.
Absolutely, the best women's swimmer we'll ever see.
All right, so I'm staying in the world of Olympics. I'm going to the gymnastics. Simone Biles, 3 gold medals and 1 silver. It's my winner circle this week.
If she didn't fall off that balance beam, she could have had another one too.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Huh? No, I didn't mean
wow. I'd love to see you try.
I'm just saying, like, Simone, like, is good enough. If that mistake didn't make that mistake, unfortunate mistake, she would have had another medal, whether it be gold or silver or whatnot.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I know she's incredibly talented.
That
Mistakes
was a weird
happen.
event though, because like 5 of the gymnasts fell off the beam in the same event.
They said it was something to do with the crowd was very quiet and they weren't playing any music, which is stuff they're used to having at most of their events. So,
that makes sense.
I mean, I mean, it wasn't just a Simone Biles thing. It seemed like a very just a weird event for sure.
Definitely.
But sticking with the Olympics as well, I'm going to go into Garrett's realm and pick Novak Djokovic as my winner for this week. He defeated Carlos Alcaraz just a month after losing to him at Wimbledon.
Wow.
And got his first gold medal of his career. And it's kind of seen as the last, and correct me if I'm wrong, Garrett, last major accomplishment for the Joker to have. And I mean, I was surprised. I thought maybe I figured Alcaraz would just win it again, but Joker got it done.
No, He has done everything that he has done, or he's done everything on paper to deserve the GOAT title in tennis. Now
Okay.
he has an Olympic gold. He's won every single major, and he's won every single Masters 1000 at least one time. No other player can say they've done that.
Okay.
Now that he's got the gold, he's a unicorn now.
So are you giving him the GOAT title?
As a Roger Federer fan, it pains me to say it. I am. It pains me to say it. I am. I don't know if we'll see a better tennis player. Maybe Alcaraz will just continue to be Alcaraz for the next 20 years. Who knows?
Yeah.
But as of right now, Novak Djokovic is the GOAT of tennis.
Well, you heard it here first on the podcast, boys.
Yep.
That was a very emotional win too. That was the main thing I loved, seeing him celebrating with his family.
I did see that. Yeah, that was.
It
really
was
cool.
no, it was. He's talked about how he's the one thing he's always wanted to do is bring a gold medal back to Serbia, and he finally did it.
Yeah, well, this is an Olympic-themed podcast. We're heading on to the next Olympic topic. We want to look at the medal count here, and let me update it on my computer. Last it checked, so yeah, United States is now up to 23 gold medals. They also lead the total medal count with 85. The next closest is China with 58. They also have 22 gold medals. They were tied with China just probably 10-15 minutes ago, so they must have won the I believe the 200 was the track event that was just going on, women's 200. Australia has the second most gold medals with 14. They're lacking behind in just the total medals, but it's worth noting there. France with 48. I actually had a stat here. They had 48, which is more than they had all of the last Summer Olympics. They only had it within the 20s range.
Wow.
That's
So,
impressive.
yeah, that home field advantage, home court advantage, home whatever you're playing on advantage is really paying off for France. And then rounding out the top five is Great Britain with 12 gold medals, 45 total. But it's been a well-rounded Olympics, but the States have pretty much stayed up there most of the time.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. But for track though, Noah Lyles won by 5/1000ths of a second, closest finish in the men's 100 meters since 1980. I don't know if you
Wow.
guys came across
Yeah.
that race. That was absolutely
That's
crazy.
special.
It was just that lean, that was the difference. But I also like Lyles' message on Twitter, though. He battled with anxiety, depression, dyslexia. What defines you does not, what you have does not define you, though. I thought that was a really great message that he put out to the public. And Grant Fisher becomes the second American man in 56 years to win the 10,000 meter. So he won a bronze medal. So that was really cool. And in swimming, Katie Ledecky won by 10.33 seconds. When I saw that on Twitter, I was like, wow.
She won her heat by 17 seconds.
Which one was the one we played on Beyond the Score? Or how much was she up on that?
1500. Yeah, that's the one she won by 10 seconds.
Oh, I thought it was more than that.
Yeah, that was mind-boggling. I mean, do you ever see that often in swimming?
No.
No, I don't think that happens
Yeah.
often.
She is
in
one-
swimming.
Only on like the really long events where you have like
Right.
just people
Yeah.
tire
Well-
out and there's one guy or
Right.
girl that just goes the distance and just absolutely gaps everyone.
Yeah, well, the one I watched, the U.S., I think it was the 1500. I can't think of the swimmer's name, but the swimmer that won that, I mean, it was you could tell he had more than everyone else, but they were still, you had an Italian and an Irishman about a second behind, and every once in a while they'd cut in, and then he would up his pace.
Yeah.
And that's how a normal race goes, but just blowing them out by 10 seconds, you don't see that as often. You know, I guess in NASCAR, to equate it, we see that a little more often than swimming, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she's arguably the best swimmer in the world right now. But
I don't think there's an argument.
I don't think it's
I
arguable.
don't think there's an argument.
yeah, I mean, some certain people have their opinions, I'm sure. But Reagan Smith won silver in the 200-meter backstroke, which is her 6th Olympic medal. And what else we got here? United States captures silver in a close finish with China. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
And gymnastics, like I mentioned before in the winner's circle segment, Simone Biles winning 3 gold medals and 1 silver, 11 career Olympic medals, second all-time by a women's gymnast. So, yeah, overall, just great seeing all these sports. And what's great about the Olympics, though, is this is stuff that we don't really watch often like we do with football.
That's my favorite part.
Football, basketball, baseball, NASCAR, all these sports that we see every day. But it just makes me more of a fan of these.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes me wishing there was like a handball channel or something. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've been getting into
Yeah.
handball. I haven't really like followed like all the storylines and that and whatnot. Just turning on the game, seeing what's on. I don't know why. I like it better than soccer. I'll say it right now.
That's fair.
No, I mean, we pretty much in my household, we just kind of have the Olympics on in the background in the family room, and so anytime we walk by, we're just like, oh, what's going on with the Olympics, you know?
Do you watch like the multi-view?
No, we don't. We're not that fancy.
Oh, I got the multi-view on.
Oh,
Like
alright.
unless there's like something very very big on, I'm watching the multi-view. I was watching horse racing, sumo wrestling.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, no, it's just YouTube TV. It's just YouTube TV on there. They've got they do the same thing for March Madness. It's literally the greatest weekend of my life when I can watch all 4 March Madness games at the same time.
That does sound
That's
nice.
that's all I need YouTube TV for. But Alex, you got any storylines you want to talk about from this Olympics or?
Yeah, a lot like you've been. I've been watching the gymnastics, and Suni Lee is something I'm very proud of, medaling 3 times after dealing with a kidney disease where she basically had to relearn how to be an Olympian all over again.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So she basically became an Olympian from start to finish twice in one lifetime. So that's inspirational for sure.
Man, I did not know that.
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
then going to the pool. Australia, you said they had 9 golds, I think you said, and 7 of those are from the pool. So there is a great rivalry between the USA and Australia. But the 4x100 medley relay settled it, and the USA came out on top in golds, 8-7. So that was great because there was a lot of smack talk back and forth, both on the men's and women's side.
Really?
Yeah, so that was good to see. And then a big reason that France has been getting a lot of golds as well is Leon Marquand, who is a French swimmer, obviously playing in front of his home country, swimming in front of his home country. 4 golds in front of his home country. So I don't know that there's been a better performance when you've been in front of your own fans.
I mean, yeah, that's always really cool to see an Olympian represent their country and to be able to win those medals at home. That's a great story, especially when you got a lot of fans, especially your friends and family, just to be able to witness that. I thought that was really cool. But overall, though, just swimming and everything has just been really fun to watch.
And they say he is just as good as Michael Phelps, and he made a good case for it.
That's wow.
There's somebody that I just thought of when you were talking, Alex. I was looking it up. I couldn't think of his name exactly. Carlos Yulo from the Philippines got the first gold medal for the Philippines.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
Nice.
yeah, he got it in the floor exercise was the term. It's gymnastics, and he's a nuts. I saw him in a different one, the one where they'll run really fast and they'll launch off of the I forget what they call it, but they launch off and do this like flip thing.
You
I'm
mean
not good at
vault?
gymnastics? Yeah, vault. That's it. Yeah. The vault. I saw him. I don't think he won that, but he did a really good job. And and he not only won that, but he also won. He won a house. He won like a bunch of money as well. That's just what he gets for like
Wow.
for winning that. And I don't know if he gets that for life or what the whole deal is. But yeah, the Philippines he got him their first gold medal and he got rewarded very well for it.
Well,
Can someone explain to me pommel horse guy?
The what?
The pommel horse guy?
The pommel
for-
horse
The
guy.
Pommel horse guy?
the American gymnastics guy who's like only event is
well,
pommel
since you're a
horse.
baseball fan, I think I can make this happen. He is like Mariano Rivera. He comes in at the very end, and he's the best at what he does.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
And he just
I know what you're talking about now.
wins, makes sure the U.S. wins every time, and that's the only event he does. So he'll sit at the gymnastic events for 3 hours meditating and
Right.
everything. So
No,
he's
like,
just a closer.
I've seen he's a closer. No, I've seen the clips of him just like almost like sleeping on the bench. It's like, why is he here? And then I've like seen the clips of him getting on the pommel horse and just absolutely annihilating it.
That's the most unrealistic thing you've ever seen on this pommel horse.
No, exactly. So it's just the fact that he's just so specialized in that one area is, I don't want to say like hilarious. It's funny to me, but also very impressive at the same time, if that makes sense.
Oh, it is very much both for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. The other one I wanted to mention was the Turkish shooter.
Yes.
That dude,
that man has
is
aura
everywhere on my TikTok page. Just define aura, and it's this guy, and it for good reason. I mean, the dude going in there. I was seeing before I saw him. I saw all the pictures of like, you know, the other competitors with all their extensions and gadgets and whatnot. Then you just got him, just gangster. That dude is a hitman who just happened to come through. Just was like on a separate mission, is disguised as an Olympic shooter.
Just
so.
got done with the job and he was like, "This is a good disguise."
They won't suspect a thing.
I like watching Sydney McLaughlin in the hurdles.
Yeah,
she's just been competing in the semifinals. She just crushed in that, but she's a local person. She's from Lexington, so it's been good to see her dominate. She's the defending gold medalist for that sport, for that event. So I'm excited to see if she defends her title. I think she will, but
yeah,
Femke Bowl is in the way, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's going to be a night. You got me. You think you might have just convinced me to watch that for sure. But yeah, I guess we could preview the USA basketball a little bit because they've been in the group play. So I personally haven't really been following them. I get to watch basketball almost all year, so being able to watch some other sports has been the thing. But they are currently playing against Brazil. Maybe Garrett could give us a score update. And
I can indeed.
And Brazil featuring NBA legends,
absolute legend,
Bruno Caboclo and Cristiano Felicio. Is Bruno still in the NBA? I was trying to think.
I don't think he is.
The last I remember, he was on the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I don't think he's there anymore.
He's not there anymore. That's a shame. But certainly legends when I remember when people were saying Caboclo was going to be like the next. Who were they saying he was going to be? It was like the next KD or something like that. I don't even know. But
I don't think they're
probably
putting
next.
up the same
They're saying
numbers.
he's next Pascal Siakam because he was in the Raptors organization.
Oh, got you.
So
Okay.
he was not, in fact, the next Pascal Siakam. But you got a score update there, Garrett?
Currently, the United States leads Brazil 44-34 with 3:56 left in the second quarter.
All right.
Okay. All right. So
A nice cushion.
I like that little cushion. I'm sure if they start or stop playing defense, like they could definitely blow that. But
Steph Curry is currently shooting free throws, so you know that score is about to go up for them.
no, of course, of course.
For sure.
I know we talked about it, Colton, but I'm a little disappointed we don't get to see USA versus Canada.
Yes,
That would've been really
yes. Canada falling to France. I'm sure the France game will still be good, but I was really liking that Canada team. Just watch them on their own and seeing a little North American battle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no doubt those were the two best teams in the group play for sure. I would say.
I mean,
that's the beauty of tournaments, I suppose.
I mean, just like you guys, I am disappointed we're not going to be able to see the United States go up against Canada because, as we all know, actually, there's NBA talent on both sides, and I feel like out of all the teams, Canada was going to give the United States a little bit of a run.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely sucks that they got eliminated by France today. But there is potential though; they might be playing France.
And the loss doesn't even really make sense to me because I would get it if Gobert and Wemby scored like 30 apiece or something. But
Gobert scoring 30 is a wild take.
That's true, yeah. But Wemby, Gobert, and Batum all together, I know he's not a big man, but still a key piece of that team.
Yeah.
Scored 12 points combined. I don't see how you lose to a team that does that. When
And Canada was such a great defensive team.
Yeah.
Like from the games I saw, they were really good lockdown defense.
Their only weakness was
like the
I
effort.
feel like the big men. I mean, Kelly Olynyk's good, but
the rebounding
not a
was
big
not
man,
there.
yeah.
Like that was what kept Spain. The group play game I saw was Spain just boxed out rebounded everybody.
You don't want Dwight Powell to be your starting center. But besides that,
I mean, the Mavericks have been dealing with that for like years,
Yeah.
so they already knew that was going to be a problem. But yeah, and then for the women's, they got a game not till tomorrow, I don't think, right?
Yeah. They
Who
play
playing?
Nigeria.
Nigeria, okay.
Nigeria.
Who I believe are in their first Olympics.
Really?
At least in
Wow.
the basketball, yeah. have never made it this far. Even if they've made it to the Olympics, they've definitely never made it to the quarterfinal. Because I was talking to somebody who is from that area, and he was very excited because this is the first time they've ever been this far. So it's good to see. Don't think that game will be close.
No, not at all.
But it's for sure a good story.
I mean, do you feel like that Nigeria will at least challenge them at the beginning of the game?
For the first 5 minutes, for sure.
Anything's possible.
It'll be close for 5 minutes, and I think that'll be it.
Yeah.
The only thing that concerns me with this women's team is their three-point shooting.
Yeah.
Because it looked a little better last game, but that's because Jackie Young shot 5 for 8 from 3. The rest of the team shot 3 for 12.
You know, you could help them with that. Some player starts the C and
Enrique Agumbawale could also help them with that a lot.
No, absolutely. Yeah, she probably helped better than Clark could. But, I'm excited to see how this basketball tournament plays out. Get a little March Madness taste before we go back into seclusion for basketball
Definitely, for sure.
until October. But, I think anything you guys want to add here at the end of the Olympics, or are we ready to go to trivia?
I think we're ready for the trivia.
Ready.
All right, Garrett, take it away. I hear we finally don't have a baseball question, thank the Lord.
Yes, it is finally not a baseball question. It is an Olympics question because the theme of this show is clearly the Olympics this week.
Glad you got that.
So recently, this past weekend, I went on a little hidden brewery tour with my family in downtown Cincinnati. We checked out some underground cellars where they stored beer. It was pretty cool.
Okay.
Cool.
What's this got to do with the trivia question?
We will get there when we get there.
He's an Olympic drinker.
Oh, you got a gold medal. Okay.
Yes,
What
Alex
was the
hit the
drink?
nail on the head there.
All right.
After the tour, we went to a brewery, Rheingeist Brewery, and they had the Olympics on, and on the screen was nothing other than badminton.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed.
So Garrett's got a point this
Oh boy,
week.
indeed. Badminton is probably quickly become one of my favorite sports to watch.
Understandably so.
Very entertaining. I watched a Spaniard play a Chinese, and the Spaniard went down with a knee injury. I didn't know we could get knee injuries in badminton, but here we are. All right. My question to you is, which country has the most medals in badminton?
Ooh, this is a good
man.
one. I'm trying to. I feel like United Kingdom.
No, it was wrong. I pressed the wrong button. I'm sorry, Colton. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Colton. I pressed. My dyslexia got the best of me. I pressed the wrong
I was
button.
going to say right off the bat.
No,
I was
my
feeling like that's where it
dyslexia
started at, was there.
Pressed the
but-
wrong button. It is not Great Britain. I am sorry.
I know this is not going to be right, but I'm going to say China.
It's China.
Oh,
Let's
I
And,
should have guessed it because China just has the most of everything.
Yeah, it's China by a long shot too. China has totaled 52 medals in badminton with 22 gold, 15 silver, and 15 bronze, dating back to when it was an Olympic sport. The next closest country is Indonesia with 22.
Okay.
So
China owns badminton.
No doubt.
I'm 1 for 1, boys. That's pretty good.
Well, Alex, you own
So,
the show
yeah.
now, so take it away.
Thank you all. I'd like to thank my mom for this honor.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's now time for us to move on. Continuing our series. We're getting there. We're almost to the end. We got 3 divisions left of the NFL. We are on number 3, the NFC East. And I will be honest, I feel this is a little bit overrated. I would probably take the NFC West or the AFC South over this division. Now, the best team of those divisions is definitely the Eagles, which is in the East. But when you go down the list, you got the Cowboys, which are the Cowboys.
Yep.
You have the Giants. I don't have to say anything there. And you have the Commanders, which in a couple years might be nice, but they got a ways to go. But anyways, we were going to start with the Commanders as they finished last in the division last year. They were 4-13. They have not finished with 10 or more wins since the year 2012. They got their QB of the future in Jaden Daniels in this last draft. But overall, I feel that team around him improved a little bit on what Sam Howell had last year as well. They added Austin Eckler to be a weapon in the backfield that Daniels can rely on. They did a good job of picking up Tyler, I can't say his name, Biadasz, and Nick Algoretti to strengthen the O-line. They defensively tried to address some of the pressing need at linebacker with Bobby Wagner and Frankie Luvu. And dang, I'm having one of Ben's days.
Okay.
Sorry, buddy. But I thought that was a good job at addressing the linebacker. The D-line isn't looking as scary as it has in previous years after trades they made last season. Still pretty tough. They got Dorrance Armstrong from their division rival, the Cowboys, to pair with Jonathan Allen and De'Aaron Payne. So still a tough line, but lost Chase Young. And then they lost Kendall Fuller in the secondary, and they did not improve on that. That's definitely going to be an issue, as they were the last passing defense in the league last year. And they did get Jeremy Chin, who can maybe come back from a mid-2023, but other than that, the defense is definitely going to struggle in the secondary. But yeah, that is their free agency. They have a draft I'd like to talk about, but I have talked a lot, so I'll let you guys add anything.
Yeah, I mean, just looking back at this offensive line, I mean, like you mentioned, it was a struggle for them last year. Sam Howell was the most sacked quarterback last season, 65 sacks.
We know a little bit about that.
Do what?
We know a little bit about that, being the most sacked quarterback in the
for
NFL.
Sure. But I feel like with these signings at the offensive line, Tyler Bizzetti, is that his name?
You're not going to get me to say that name again.
Okay.
Garrett, please tell him.
I believe it's Biadic.
Okay.
Biadic, okay.
Biadic. I don't see where you get that from.
And Nick Allegretti and Michael Dieter, and they drafted Brandon Coleman out of TCU, who could be moving up to left tackle. But I feel like if this offense, if they can perform really well together, especially the offensive line, it'll provide options for Jaden Daniels and show the type of player that he is. And who knows, they could probably help Austin Eckler with the run game as well. So overall, I'm just excited to see what this offense has in store.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Jaden Daniels will make the offense more dynamic for sure.
Absolutely.
Yep. And Austin Eckler will help open up some passing lanes, play action, and all that, which obviously will help an offense. But this is a rebuilding team, and it's not going to look much more different than last year, I don't think.
I think they're going to be better than last year.
I think so.
I would say that they'll get a couple more wins. I think it'll be more on the back half of the season where we see some improvement. But I mean, you already have a great receiving core. You have improved that offensive line a bit. You have improved the receiving core a little bit. Got Ben Sinnott, I think, could be a decent tight end pick there, and somebody that we had talked about wanting on the Bengals. They also got, speaking of people we want on the Bengals, Newton, that good old Johnny Newton. No. Yeah, Johnny Newton. I actually knew his name off the top of my head for once. But yeah, you had him. So at the end of the day, good draft. Very surprisingly good draft from the Commanders. I do worry about Jaden Daniels' ability to stay healthy, though. Garrett's talked about it. Garrett can probably comment a little bit on Jaden Daniels. He has a knack for getting sacked, getting tackled, not staying in the play a little too long. And that's not going to be good, especially if the O-line is still sketchy. Better, but sketchy.
He has a very tenacious mindset when running. He thinks he is a lot bigger than he actually is. Yeah, I will say that.
He thinks he's Anthony Richardson or Cam Newton.
He likes contact. It feels like he actively seeks out contact, which I hope is something he will learn to not do now that he's playing at the pro level, where they will kill you.
Yeah, but I mean, if we turn injuries off, though, he's got the weapons. He's got the weapons. I think he's got the talent. I think he'll put together a stellar rookie of the year campaign. And he's not going to get much help from the defense, but I think he'll put up some good numbers.
He's going to have high expectations for sure, though, because I mean we've all heard the Lamar Jackson comparisons, which I don't think are fair. But
I would say he's probably a better passing talent than Lamar is.
For sure.
I would agree.
Talent, like potential-wise, maybe not right off the bat, but
I think I'm talking about. Like right off the bat, that's pretty high expectations for.
I wouldn't say Lamar's passing's high expectations.
Okay, that's better.
I would say it's medium expectations, but yeah, I mean that's fair. Like Lamar's definitely a good player, so I don't want to hate on him too much, but we'll talk about that more in the NFC North or AFC North, of course. But it's time to move on to the Giants, and Ben, you got them.
Yes, sir. All right. So last season, the Giants finished 6-11. Their additions they got this offseason are John Runyon Jr., Aaron Stinnie, excuse me, Jeremy Enclumer, I don't know if I'm saying that right.
Jermaine Elmore, probably Elmore.
Elmore, yeah. Devin Singletary, Drew Lock, Malik Neighbors, number 6 pick in the NFL draft this year, and DB Jalen Mills. Players lost, Saquon Barkley, big one. Brent.
It's somehow bigger than that, but yeah, I don't know how to even explain how big that is for him.
Yeah, well, but Ben Breedson, excuse me, Paris Campbell, Xavier McKinney, Tyrod Taylor, Ashawn Robinson, and I feel like with the run defense, they ranked 29th in the NFL last season. They allowed 132.4 yards per game, which is absolutely mind-boggling. They did hire their new defensive coordinator, Shane Bowen, so I feel like it'll be interesting to see how he'll try to develop that defense a little bit more.
Yeah.
The main problem for them last year was stopping the run and rushing the passer. They got Brian Burns this offseason, joining Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon
Thibodeau.
Okay, thank you guys.
I wasn't gonna let you do it alone, buddy.
All right, thank you, Garrett.
One name at a time.
Yep. And the offensive line, though, another struggle last season. 30th last season in the NFL. They got, like I mentioned before, they got John Runyon Jr., Aaron Stinnie, and Jermaine Elmore, yeah. And left tackle Andrew Thomas, and
I believe it's Illuminor.
Oh, Illuminor.
I think it's Illuminor.
Yeah, that's
Illuminor.
it.
Okay. But I feel like with this offensive line, if they can improve, though, I feel like we can see who Daniel Jones can potentially be as a quarterback, especially with his new offensive weapon, Malik Neighbors, that they got in the draft.
The only weapon he has.
I was going to say, yeah, that's the only weapon.
Yep, that is definitely the only weapon, though. But I feel like this is probably going to be his last chance to show the Giants that he is a franchise QB, because if it doesn't work out with this new offensive line, then I feel like they're going to have to move on from him and bring up Drew Lock.
I would completely agree with that. Daniel Jones would not be my pick for a starting quarterback, but we'll go with him one more year, see how that goes. But I'm really worried about this offense. Darren Waller might retire too.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
He did.
He did?
Yeah.
I think he officially did, yeah.
He did.
Well,
He did.
That's a big loss for them, as well as obviously Barkley. But I'm really excited to see how this defense comes together, because I think their pass rush should be a little better this year.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Brian Burns and Thibodeau is crazy good. So I think that defense will kind of hold them up to make sure that their inefficiencies on offense are not highlighted as much.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard to hide those, though. I mean, there's a world where Drew Lock's quarterback by week 5 or even week 1, honestly.
I want that so bad.
It's like I'm one of the few like Daniel Jones defenders, but I'm also one of the guys who's wanted to see Drew Lock get a chance. So it's such a conflicting position for me. But yeah, I really don't have much to say on this team other than.
This might be inflammatory, but I think the Giants have been wasting the past 5 years with Daniel Jones as quarterback.
I guess, but
Sorry,
I personally, I've seen flashes. I've seen flashes from him that I believe he could do it. But
flashes. I don't think there've been enough.
I mean,
I don't look at the team that's around him.
Right.
There's that.
Who's the best wide receiver before Malik Neighbors, or I guess Darren Waller or Saquon Barkley that he's had?
Did Danny Dimes get a chance to throw to OBJ?
No.
Yeah.
So we're talking
I don't know,
Slayton?
I guess.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, he's had decent years with the misfit of, like, if we want to talk Island of Misfit Toys, the receiving core is the Island of Misfit Toys. But anyways, we don't need to waste any more time on this team. Let's move on down to who would be next? The Eagles? Yeah, Eagles.
Okay.
So the Eagles had a That goes you on program.
That was.
Garrett said words in my head. All right. The Eagles, who are coming off a mega collapse last season, largely on the hands of the defense, being bottom 5 against the pass. Injuries, lack of talent, having Matt Patricia as a defensive coordinator also combined for that fall off. But this team defeated the Bills, Chiefs, Dolphins before hitting the final stretch of the season, where they lost to the Seahawks, Giants, and Cardinals. I don't see that happening again. This team went straight to work hiring Vic Fangio, who put down an impressive turnaround for his defense after letting up 70 points, admittedly, for the Broncos against the Dolphins. But other than that, that defense flipped 180. They voted for long-term options at cornerback to play in the draft with Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, possibly the 2 best CBs in the draft.
For sure.
They also returned Chauncey Gardner-Johnson from the 2022 team to have a veteran presence with Reed Blankenship, who was a rare bright spot from the core last year. They also traded Hassan Reddick for a younger, not as good yet Bryce Huff, who likely has a longer shelf life and isn't fighting for a big contract. The front 7 is loaded with talent and will be a force with new help and a better defensive coordinator. Looking at the offense, though, they got a little boost with the addition of Saquon Barkley. A little boost.
Little bit.
Just
Yeah,
a slight bit. But this is the part where I begged the NFL gods. Can we please get a fully healthy season of Saquon on a championship contender
Definitely.
and Christian McCaffrey on a championship contender? I would love to see just an MVP race
We need
between
it.
those two.
That'd be great.
It would be
That would be
amazing.
great.
I really hope we can get that, but the chances aren't too high. But
And MVP's still going to go to a quarterback. But
yeah, of
for
course,
sure.
Here nor
of
there.
course. Yeah,
Yep.
but a man can dream, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
But looking at the O-line, I know they lost literally the greatest center possibly of all time, Jason Kelsey. But I really like the guy they brought in there. He's been marinating for 2 years. Cam Jurgens is the name. Jurgens, that's a funny name. But, he looked sketchy at guard, but now he's in his natural position at center. He's been learning behind the greatest center of all time. I'm very convinced that, no, he will not be as good as Jason Kelsey, but he will still be a viable option at center, above average option at center for the Eagles. And then, Gary, you got something to say? Oh, you reopened your mic, so I didn't know. But, yeah, I mean, I just wonder what Barkley can do with the competent O-line.
Yeah.
Please, NFL gods, save us.
Yeah. What was the name of that new center they got again after Kelsey?
It was
Jurgens.
Cam Jurgens.
Cam Jurgens. Yeah. I mean, that was one of my questions was after Kelsey, what are they going to do? But I feel like he's learned behind Kelsey, like you said. I feel like he's going to fill that role really well and provide great protection for Jalen Hurts. But I also want to look at the defense. Last year, they were 30th in scoring, allowing 25.2 points per game.
And a lot of it was that secondary just getting absolutely cooked.
shredded,
Right, yeah. And then prior to that, though, they were 8th in 2022. So that was absolutely crazy. But they ranked, in pass defense, they ranked 31st, allowing 35 touchdowns. But I really like these new quarterbacks that are coming in, Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean from Iowa. I feel like those guys are going to help the defense really well, and I feel like this is going to be a completely different secondary for this upcoming season because that was one of their big problems in the end of the year where they were not the same team.
Yeah, bringing back Gardner Johnson was a big one as well. We have a breaking news from Sir Garrett. Sir, what do you got?
My mic's unmuted there. You asked for it, Colton. Halftime score of the USA basketball game, 63-36. The United States is up on
Wow.
Brazil.
Ooh-wee.
Wow.
That took a turn.
Yeah.
You may continue.
Yeah. Thank you. I was asking for it, so that's on me. But Alex, what do you think about the Eagles?
The Eagles, if they can have cohesion on that offensive line after Jason Kelsey retired, I think they could be a top 3 offense.
For sure.
Absolutely.
They're dynamic with adding Barkley and already having Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and then Goddard. I don't see this offense being anywhere below top 5 as long as the offensive line isn't bad.
Yeah.
I know we talked about the questions they have with the secondary, but have some faith in Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean.
Me too.
So think they will turn that team around, and they'll be right back at Super Bowl contenders.
Yeah, I think that defense will be back to probably top 10 in the league.
Definitely. Great defense all around, and arguably the greatest offense this upcoming season.
I think
We'll have to see.
this. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good. Just arguably the greatest offense for this upcoming season.
Yeah, I think this could be just the best all-around team this
Oh, yeah.
year. Really looking at it, but we need to hurry up because we're down to the last 10 minutes. So
Yep.
if we can kind of speed run through the Cowboys since they didn't do much this off season, Ben, take it away.
All right, let me find them real quick. All right, here we go. Cowboys, they finished 12-5 last season. Their additions they got this off season, they got Cooper Beebe, Royal Freeman, Ezekiel Elliott making his return to Arlington, Tyler Gutton, Eric Kendricks, Marshawn Keelan, Marist Lou
Lufau.
Man, hard last name.
Yeah, it's not an easy last name to say. So
No, not at all.
I'm blaming
But
him.
players lost, though, were Tony Pollard, which is a little bit concerning because I feel like he had a great impact last season for the Dallas offense.
Fantasy owners disagree, but yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just fantasy owners don't like him, but I mean he did a decent job as a running back on
Yeah,
the
for sure.
Cowboys.
Yeah. But for the edge, though, they got Durance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, center, Tyler Baez, Stephen Gilmore, Jonathan Hankins, Tyron Smith, and for the offensive line, Tyler Bazzetti and Tyron Smith. I feel like these are actually, wait a sec. Offensive line, they added Cooper Bebe, Nathan Thomas, and Tyler Gutton. I feel like with those losses that they had last year, though, I feel like these guys are going to perform really well to protect Dak Prescott. So I'm not really too concerned about that. And also the running back position, though. They did not pick a single running back in this NFL draft. I mean, they brought back Zeke, but Rico Dowell, Deuce Vogue, and Freeman. It'll be interesting to see how they'll take that next step to try to fix the running game. So overall, I feel like that's their biggest weakness coming into this upcoming season.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this defense does with Mike Zimmer as their new defensive coordinator.
That would be interesting.
I think that he may fit them a little better. I mean, they're a big play defense as it is, so they're going to run a lot more blitzes and scheme it up differently. So I think there will be on the upside on the defensive end. And then it'll just be interesting to see how the season ends with Mike McCarthy being in a contract year.
Yeah.
So, because, the Cowboys like to move on if nothing's happening,
Yeah,
especially as of recently. So we'll see how that goes. And then I'll just see how Dak plays. I mean, he was second in MVP voting last year. So if he can follow that up with another great year, the Cowboys could be in contention.
Yeah. Cowboys could definitely be a team that exists.
Yeah.
Because they are the Cowboys.
I mean, I just want to see them win one playoff game. I mean,
I don't.
the last
I don't,
three.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Why
I
would
don't.
anybody want to see them win a? You know how the Cowboys fans are going to be?
I mean,
I think they won the Super Bowl.
the last 3 seasons though. They've won 12 games and they can't get through the wild card in the playoffs. So I feel like that's kind of the main reason why Dak Prescott hasn't gotten his extension yet, because I feel like he just needs to prove himself in the postseason, to be honest. And CeeDee Lamb still waiting on an extension as well. So we'll just see what happens down the road.
All right. Well, we spent too much time on the Cowboys, so unfortunately, I believe we're going to have to cut Phil's hot take this week.
It's okay. I lost it.
Okay. Well,
But I can give it to you real quick.
Yeah, just go
'cause
ahead and
I
give it
listened
to
to
whatever
it
he
off camera
said.
and memorized it.
Yeah.
All right, so Phil's hot take for this week was that Daniel Jones is not as bad of a quarterback as people think he is.
Shout out Phil. Shout
And
out Phil.
Thank you, Phil.
with Malik Neighbors and the new weapons added to the receiving core, Phil thinks that Danny Dimes will throw for 25 or maybe even 30 touchdowns this season.
Wow.
Absolutely. I book it. Book it.
Mm.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and give our final standings
Not a-
projections.
Not a consensus.
No,
agreement
nobody
there.
agreed.
For sure not.
No,
Yeah,
it's-
nobody else agrees. But
Nobody else seems to agree with you or Phil.
no, me and Phil are just are on the same wavelength though. We know what the future of the NFL looks like, but
And it's Daniel Jones.
Yes,
Danny
that's not
Dimes.
quite what I meant.
Okay,
but
okay.
we'll go with that. Alex, as our guest, did you do standing projections or?
Yeah, I did.
Let's hear
For
'em.
the NFC East, I had the Giants coming in last, Washington coming in third, Dallas second, and then Philly winning the division.
All right. Giants are going 7-10. Commanders 9-8. Cowboys 12-5. Eagles 13-4.
Yeah, not bad takes there. I have the Giants at 4-13, the Washington Commanders at 5-12. So I only had one more win than they had last year. Dallas at 11-6, and then Philly at 14-3, winning the division. And now it is time for the 2-minute warning. Garrett, take it away.
What?
Oh, I thought you wanted to play the music, the sound.
I can if you want me to.
No, you don't have to anymore. I guess you're not going to take it. So I'm used to throwing it to Josh, I guess.
I
that's
didn't
just
know
where
you.
my
I
head
didn't know
went.
you wanted the. I thought you only wanted the music if you guys were in the middle of a conversation and you want me to interrupt you.
Oh no, I just thought we were playing. Okay, miscommunication between the director and host
Yeah,
there.
it's all right.
But, we have that about every segment anymore. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and go to the 2-minute warning. I'm used to just throwing it to Josh, so this is very weird. NFC East breakout player.
I know this doesn't count as a breakout player, but Saquon Barkley is who I went with because he's new to the division at least. So
Yeah.
I think that's who I would go with.
For myself, I'm going Rico Dodell.
Rico Dodell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Respect.
Who's he play for? I'll be honest, I don't know.
Cowboys.
Okay,
I
the Cowboys.
just brought him up.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear you even say it. My
Oh.
fault. And then for the NFC East breakout player, I have the Danny Dimes. And then I keep on waiting for Josh to say something, but it's me. So the favorite Olympic sport you have followed this year?
For me, gymnastics. It's just good to have Simone Biles back after she was not able to compete in the 2021 games, I guess you would call it.
For myself, I like watching track.
Track is a lot
Yeah.
of fun. It's a
Noah
lot of people in the
Lyles.
stands.
Noah Lyles and all those guys were really fun
Sha'Carri
to watch.
Richardson.
Yeah.
It's a blast. I'm going with handball. I've been loving me some handball. Another one is BMX racing. That's another honorable mention. That's a lot of fun. But last
Badminton.
question, badminton for Garrett.
Yep.
And while we got Alex on the show, I want your long shot Super Bowl pick.
Well, I hope this counts as a long shot. I would go with the Houston Texans. I think
Okay.
they are.
Some
I'm all
people
in-
maybe not.
I'm all in on them this year, but I think they can make a good run to Super Bowl.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I'm going Texans as well.
I'm trying to think of a team, not the Texans, because that was my pick.
Give me Baker Magic, the Bucks, baby.
The Bucks.
Give me the Bucks.
He said the Bucks.
That's
Bucks.
Well, you think Josh isn't here, so you just won't get regulated for that?
Maybe.
I
Josh
don't
is
know.
usually the one that keeps me in check.
Give me the Bills. I think they're definitely looking as a long shot. I don't know if I really believe in that, but that's the team that came to mind. So, all right, that is all we have for this week. A very disjointed second half of the show there, but we got there. Hope you all did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and follow us on Twitter at NorseBWPod. We are doing a giveaway at 100 subscribers for the YouTube, so be sure to subscribe so you can be a part of that. Be sure to go follow Alex's podcast. Follow Alex on Twitter at Perez, and then follow the podcast Beyond the Score on Twitter and Beyond the Score 123 on YouTube. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, NK Media Services, for letting us use the place. Thank you, co-host, for coming on.
Yep.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thank you, Alex.
anytime. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.